Hey everybody, Tekking and Barry back again. We also have a fan favorite, Kurozumi Orochi, with us today. Hey Orochi, how are you doing? Hey, you know what? It's a good thing you're here. I have a question I want to ask you. How many times does someone have to cut off your head until you die? I thought it was just once, but, clearly that's not the case. So, can we get a hard number on that? No? Okay. What if there is a specific number? What if, like, everybody's overthinking this? Like, oh, he's like the Hydra of Heracles' trials. Yes, you must slice off all of the heads while burning the wounds so they cannot regrow. What if it's not even that complicated? What if there is a set number, like 406? You have to cut off his head 406 times. You do that, he stays dead. It's just like, okay. And also, like I said before, given Orochi's paranoia, it's a very fitting mythical zone ability that he just gets a crap ton of extra lives, right? So he's not a very strong fighter. Yeah, to a normal human, he can, like, devour them, like strangle them with his snake heads and just crush them or whatever. But to any sort of person in the One Piece world, like, how many characters could actually take down Orochi? Like, even going back to the East Blue, I would give, like, Arlong and, like, Kuro, even Don Krieg, a fair crack at taking out Orochi, right? Like, Don Krieg at full power with all of his armor, I think he honestly has a pretty good shot at taking down Orochi, probably. I mean, the only thing there is, when you do go in the mythical zone, you get a boost in stamina and, like, defense. So, that might be hard. But overall, he's a very weak fighter, right? So, you know what? I think Oda, he's going somewhere with this, but I don't think it's anything too complicated on why Orochi just keeps coming back, all right? For one thing, I think he wants us to look at him sort of like a pest, because he is. It's just that we just want this guy to die already, right? Like, everybody's on the same page with that. And it's just like, he's done so many horrible things to everybody at Wano, although would him dying really be for the best? So, hold on for a second here. But it's like, we hate him as a fan base. So it's like Kaido slices his head off at the beginning of Onigashima, and we're like, woo! Yeah, okay, cool. Kicking this off with a bang. You go, Kaido. And so, because we know Kaido's going to get his ass kicked by Luffy, at least we would assume, right? So then he comes back and lights the whole palace on fire, lights the whole, Onigashima, on fire. And it's like, all right, he's still alive. I guess that does make sense given the fact he does have a mythical zone. He's the Yamato no Orochi. He has multiple heads. I guess it would make sense just cutting off one of his heads wouldn't be enough, right? So then the Scabbards all show up. And the Scabbards, you have to understand, Orochi was like the figurehead of Wano. Orochi is like the focus of a lot of their hatred. But even at that point, the Scabbards realized, like, he was nothing. He was below their radar, basically, right? They knew Kaido was the main threat. This was after their fight with Kaido. Luffy's up there taking care of him and all the Worst Generation members like Kid and Killer and everybody. So now they're going through the hall. They have to find Momonosuke. They have other things to worry about. This guy shows up, and he attacks them in his Yamato no Orochi form. And they're like, oh yeah, Orochi's the one that did all these horrible things to Wano. Basically, laid out the red carpet for Kaido to arrive and built all these factories and everything. But even with all that, they're not even going to give him the time of the day. It's not even going to be this dramatic moment where Kinemon is, like, staring down Orochi and is like, Orochi, you have betrayed your fellow countrymen. Orochi, you have betrayed Odin. You promised him that you would release Wano and all these people, and you went back on your promise. It is now for us the duty of our former leader Odin as his retainers to slice you down post haste. It wasn't anything even that dramatic. It was just like, Orochi's coming at us. We're just gonna slice his heads off, and we're gonna continue onward, and that's what they did, right? So he came back after that, and then that's when Hiyori gets involved, and you can sort of see what Oda's doing here, and I said it as a joke, but no, honestly, this is probably what he's doing. Really, there are so many people that need to kill Orochi. He has to stay alive long enough so that more people can kill him. Honestly, I think that might be part of it. There might be a deeper thing to look into it here, and we'll get into that in a moment. But seriously, I mean, you have all the Scabbards that needed to get a hit in. Kaido needed to get a hit in. Zoro still needs to. Denjiro still needs to. Hiyori just had her moment with Orochi. There's like so many moments that have to be carried out. Momonosuke even. Like Momonosuke should get a shot in as well, right? Same thing as Hiyori, you know? They were both Odin's kids, you know? So yeah, there's a reason for him coming back again and again here. And he's probably going to get killed again, and he might come back again. So a lot of the fans are just like, can he just die already? Right? Like, it's like frustrating, but it's not as frustrating as like other characters that keep coming back in like fiction, because Orochi is not a threat. Like, we all understand he's not a major threat, okay? Especially after this battle is over, if Kaido truly does fall, all the All-Stars are gone, all the Tobiropos are gone, Big Mom is in the hole. So all we got to do right now is get rid of Kaido. If Kaido is taken care of, even if Orochi is still alive, he's not a threat, okay? So it's just more of like, you know, oh my god, Oda, there were plenty of moments for, you know, Orochi to just die. Why not just go with it? I think we should give Oda some due deference on this. I think I know where he's going with this, okay? So Orochi's probably going to die maybe 3 or 4 more times, okay? Like, I don't think, like, he's even going to die now, like, when he's on fire, like, approaching Hiyori, like, the fire is just like, Hiyori, I will kill— oh, it's been a while since I did my Orochi voice. That was really off base. Hold on, let me try that again. Hiyori, I am Kurozumi Orochi, I will devour you, roar! And then he's like, oh no, I'm on fire! And he falls down and he comes back later or whatever, right? He's going to die a few more times. There's a few other characters that still need to get their hits in, okay? Even after every single person that needs to kill Orochi kills Orochi, even after, like, we could literally have a moment where, like, all the samurai of Wano just line up to get a shot in, like it's a carnival game or something. You know, Usopp is up there and there's Orochi. This is really dark, but it's sort of just like, hey, everybody, get a shot at the man that subjugated and slaughtered all of your people for the last 20 years, you know? So all the samurais of Wano have their katanas, and, you know, Usopp is, like, handing out weaponry or whatever, and you just, like, lop off his head and it just grows right back, and he lops off his head and it grows right back. Now, I don't think that's what Oda's going for here. That was just me in some dark humor. But no, what I think is really going down the road with this, after Orochi dies a few more times, and he just keeps coming back, and they realize that he keeps coming back, maybe they start to question of whether or not they should even kill him to begin with, okay? Because it kind of leads down the vicious circle thing of, like, the whole reason this started was because the Kurozumi clan, you know, the grandfather, you know, tried to kill all the daimyos and become the shogun, and he was found out, and then he was killed. But it wasn't just that. It didn't just end with him. It ended up with all of the Kurozumis basically being ostracized and, you know, pushed to the countryside and hunted like animals, okay? It was that environment that was started under the Kozuki family that started what would become with the Kurozumis, okay? That led to Orochi. Orochi did not just, you know, become evil because he was evil, right? Like, he has a pretty good reason for it. At least his backstory, it makes sense. He was literally hunted. His parents were probably killed for this same reason. His parents were killed. Ever since he was a kid, he was basically being chased after by mobs, you know, with torches and pitchforks, the whole 9 yards, looking to capture him and kill him in the worst way possible. So if we go along with my idea of, like, him being captured and tortured and killed in the worst way possible, kind of defeats the purpose in terms of a storytelling device, right? It's like, all right. All of the Kurozumis were slaughtered and killed in the most horrible way possible. So what we need to do with Orochi is we need to capture him and torture him and kill him in the worst way possible. That's, I'm sure, the direction Oda is going with this. Nah. He's definitely going to get payment for everything that he's done. He already kind of has. He's been killed how many times? Like 7 times so far. You know, if you count each individual head, it's been a while. It's been quite a high number at this point, right? And I guess Hiyori still hasn't really had her fair chance. She had that moment where she stabbed him with the nail and was just kind of like going over like, oh, the horrible things that you have done. I am actually Hiyori. I am Odin's daughter. I'm going to pay you back for all the suffering that you levied against my family or whatever. But she never actually got the chance to do that because the nail got knocked loose and then he got set on fire, but now he's just a flaming fire snake. You can't win with this guy, right? So, it comes down to a question of like, okay, what if... Okay, I guess he wouldn't be functionally immortal because that would be a very broken devil fruit. But what if the process in order to kill Orochi is really complex? It isn't simple as just lop off his head 400 times in a row, or even cut off his head and burn the wounds or whatever. Or what if it is? But it's like the process of that. It's like, oh, okay, here's how to kill Orochi. You got to cut off his head and burn it, which he is on fire right now. So maybe that'll, solve itself. But what if it's like, okay, cut off all of his heads and you have to burn the stumps in order to properly kill him. And then they do that. So they cut off his heads and they set him on fire. This is getting really brutal for a YouTube video. But it's like, we're setting him on fire. But then after like the second or third head, and Orochi, by the way, the entire time this is going on, is screaming like, oh, please, it hurts so much. Why are you doing this? This is torture. Maybe the people in the Scabbards would be like, man, damn, this is brutal. Man, okay, we have like 5 or 6 more heads to go. Oh, man. He's not really a threat by himself. Like, the reason he was a threat was because he allied with Kaido. That was the entire reason, okay? Yeah, he had some support at the beginning because he had Higurashi with the power of the Mane Mane no Mi, and he had Semimaru with the power of the Bari Bari no Mi. But both of those retainers of the Kurozumi clan, they are long dead, and we know they're dead because their devil fruits have been reincarnated in Mr. 2 Bon Clay and Bartolomeo, respectfully. So we know what happened with Semimaru and Higurashi, so they're not around anymore. And Kaido, if he's taking out, Orochi's just there, right? So I think this is probably the best moment in the story to sort of be like, okay, Momo and Hiyori, whoever's going to be the shogun after the events of Wano, whether or not you want to say Momo is going to travel with the Straw Hats or whatever, somebody's going to be the shogun, and most likely going to be a Kurozumi. Not Kurozumi, a Kozuki. So we're talking about Momo, we're talking about Hiyori. Somebody of the Kozuki clan is going to regain that title of shogun, okay? It wouldn't really make a lot of sense, and I think it would sort of defeat the storyline, like the message of One Piece, to just go back to killing the Kurozumis again. You know what I mean? Even if it is Orochi who did all these horrible things, it would be like, okay, we tried to kill him like 5 or 6 times. Maybe Orochi felt the pain every single time his head is cut off. But now at this point, it's just like, all right, he paid for what the crimes he committed. Now let's just keep him alive and imprison and like show him the Wano that we are going to make. Because at the end of the day, Orochi was really going towards some form of like oblivion in terms of the country of Wano, right? He did not care about the nation at the end of the day. He didn't even want it to be like the pirate paradise that Kaido wanted, right? Basically, Orochi's master plan here was for him to just live out a life of abject luxury for the rest of his days. And then when he was on his deathbed, he was probably just going to push the kill switch and then just raze the entire country to the ground. Just burn everything, destroy everything. I don't care. This is the payback for the nation that tortured my family for generations, killed my parents and me. Tortured me and they killed me in the process. That was the process. That was the end goal, right? That was Orochi's end goal. So I guess the perfect way to reverse that, or to basically kind of like show, Orochi there was another way, was to keep him around. I mean, you really honestly don't even need to keep him in prison. I mean, I guess the fact he has a devil fruit is a problem, so maybe keep like Sea Stone on him so he can't go into that form. But like I said, let's say it's like 5 years down the road. Best case scenario, Kaido is defeated, all the people of Wano are now free, Momonosuke is the shogun, or Hiyori is the shogun, whatever you want to say. Everybody's living a happy life at this point. The Scabbards are all there, Kinemon is still alive, Okiku is still alive, all the Scabbards made it out alive, Ashura Doji made it out alive, and it's just this perfect new dawn in the land of Wano. would it really matter at that point if Orochi was kept in a prison cell or if he was allowed to walk around maybe with just sea prism on so he couldn't turn into the giant Yamato no Orochi? Even if he could turn into the Yamato no Orochi, the Scabbards are there, you know, Momonosuke is a dragon now, Hiyori is capable, all the samurai that are there. Honestly, yeah, the other thing that protected Orochi was the Oniwabanshu and the Mimawari Gumi. Without his support, without their support of him, you might have to do something with Fuku Rokuju. That's the one thing. Fuku Rokuju is, I guess, still alive. I don't think Raizo killed him in their battle, but he's still alive, and he's very vastly loyal, so that's a situation there. But my point is just keeping Orochi alive without any of his former supporters. I mean, there's really no threat that he poses. At least I don't think there is. He doesn't know hockey. I mean, I think he lacks the willpower for that, right? There's a training arc where after the war, Orochi goes off and he gets super buff. And he's like, I will show them. I am Lord Orochi. I'm going to get super jacked. And he gets like super jacked. He comes back in 5 years. Like he runs off into the woods and he escapes. But the people of Wano are just like, let him go. Who cares? And then he comes back in 5 years. He's like super ripped. He turns into this giant Yamato no Orochi and has like super big muscles and can like breathe fire. And he's like, you thought you defeated me, but now is the real threat. I doubt that's going to happen, but that's an idea, right? It's just that I don't see Oda killing him for good, right? You know, you want him to, given all the fact that, you know, what's happened and everything that he's done, but I think that does defeat the purpose. Like, he will die in terms of, like, the dramatic scenes of getting his heads cut off, but will he stay dead as long as he has the Yamato no Orochi fruit? You know what I mean? It's just, right? I don't know. Or maybe he'll be exiled and go all Napoleon with it, you know, just pick out an island or like after Onigashima. Well, I guess Onigashima will land on, you know, mainland Wano, but maybe there's like other islands surrounding Wano, like desolate islands that are kind of deserted. Sort of what happened to Eneru's priests. Remember what happened to the priests like Om and Shura and who was the other one? Satori. They all got sent to the land of drifting clouds. Geratsu was the one that actually managed to escape that fate by falling out of the sky and landing on the surface world, where he now works as a very successful clerk at a hot spring village, but what can you do? But yeah, the rest of the priests were just like banished to the drifting clouds, and we never found out what happened to them after that. That might be a thing where they're like, okay, Orochi, here's the deal. We can't kill you, or rather the trouble in killing you is it's too convoluted, it's too involved, all right? Everybody got their hits in at this point. You know, Hiyori, are you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, all the Scabbards? Yeah, we're fine. Zoro? Yeah, okay. And I was like, all right, so here's what's going to happen, okay? We're going to exile you to an island that's off the coast of Wano, and we're going to have a little house for you and everything like that, and you'll have your food and everything like that. You won't be able to transform into your Yamato no Orochi form. We'll make you, like, I don't know, a sea prism, like, bracelet. Doesn't even need to be shackles, really. Just, like, a sea prism bracelet or something that, like, you can't take off. It's, like, you know, so belted on you, you can't remove it. Or maybe some permanent method of, like, you know, keeping sea prism on you or whatever, like, embedded in your body or something like that. I don't know how it would work. And it's basically, like, then you just live out the rest of your days there, okay? Because you know, that's the thing. It's like maybe the Kurozumis, you know, the plight that they suffered would like reach the Kozukis, and the Kozukis like Hiyori and Momo would be like, okay, your family did suffer a lot at the hands of our family, so we're not going to treat you the same way. But that doesn't seem to be the case. That doesn't seem to be the case that Hiyori and Momonosuke are making, so they might just straight up kill him at the end of the arc. Like, that might happen too. I'm just trying to think of other possibilities here, because if, you know, I guess you could just say Oda's keeping him alive right now so other people could get their shots in, and then eventually after that he is going to die for good, but maybe Oda is leading somewhere with this. Maybe he is trying to go somewhere else where he isn't going to die. He's going to be exiled or kept in prison along with Fuku Rokuju, like with like Horty, for example, and the new Fishman Pirates would happen with them, or Eneru's priests. And we also know that Oda doesn't really like to kill a lot of characters because, like, I guess their story ends like right there, right? And Oda's come out and said that, like, you know, there's really no there's no like idea of a character coming back as like a ghost or anything, or like a Jedi spirit or something. Orochi appears. Ah, yes, I am Orochi, back as a spirit. Ooh, actually, today is May the 4th, so it's there's your Star Wars reference. I'm honestly not a huge fan of Star Wars. I saw the original trilogy. It's pretty good. I don't like the prequel trilogy, and I haven't seen the new trilogy. What's your favorite Star Wars movie, and why? All right, that's a tangent, but we're near the end of the video anyway. So, I don't know. It's one of those, like, just complicated, like, philosophy questions, kind of, right? It's just like, okay, all right, let's look at this here. Okay. His entire family was ostracized and hunted like animals through the woods. His parents were killed. He was chased after. So then he gets his revenge by weaseling his way into the shogun's court, killing Sukiyake, basically manipulating the entire nation, inviting a horrible warlord, Kaido, over to the island, turning the whole place over to slavery for his own gleeful amusement for revenge. All right. But then the samurai are coming back to revolt against him, which were the same samurai, the Kozuki clan, at the end of the day, that created the problem to begin with. So are we just going to do vicious circle here, or are we going to try to do something different? Then, of course, there's the whole theory, and me and Randy Troy talked about this in the mini Reverie a little while ago, and he made some videos about this, talking about how Otama is also a Kurozumi. Otama, having purple hair, is maybe not necessarily like the child or grandchild of Orochi, but maybe she is a Kurozumi, right? There's other Kurozumis that managed to survive throughout the years, right? And so, you know, what about Otama? You know, she's a Kurozumi, so if you're going to kill Orochi, then what about her? Is this going to start the whole thing all over again? Now, at the end of the day, you might just say, Orochi deserves to die. All the horrible stuff he did, he deserves to die. Sure, just specifically for what he did. Not the entirety of the Kurozumi family, but just him specifically. But you gotta look at how the people are gonna respond to that in Wano. Like, okay, they kill Orochi for his horrible deeds because he was a Kurozumi. What happens if people find out that Otama is a Kurozumi? If she is. It's like, Otama's a Kurozumi, so that's the Devil Clan, but also she helped us? There needs to be some different outlook of the punishment in the land of Wano. You know, maybe Momo or Hiyori could be like, listen, the Kurozumis themselves are not some kind of devil clan. Orochi's grandfather messed up things, and Orochi himself did even more messed up things. But the rest of the Kurozumis, other than Higurashi and Semimaru, who are both dead, they're fine. You know, they didn't do anything. They are blameless here, okay? Otama actually aided in defeating Kaido at the end of the day, okay? And it's not just for Otama, but any other future member or any other member of the Kurozumis that might be living out in the middle. Like, seriously, like, out in the middle of Wano somewhere, there might be, like, some, you know, group of Kurozumis that just, like, try to remove themselves and never go back to mainland. Maybe there was an island that they fled to that's around Wano, and they were living there for the last few decades, and they have no idea of even what's going on right now. I don't know how this would work, but I just don't think it's going to be as simple as just Oda killing him and then just calling it a day. There's other stuff that needs to be addressed. But anyway, that was kind of a real topic video. That was kind of a lot of intricacies there. So let me know what you guys think. I don't have goat facts today. I think I'm going to do one or two more, and then we're going to move on to the next animal facts. This one lasted about a month. It's been about a month since I started. So yeah, goat facts was a lot of fun. Letter H. I'm leaning on hippo facts, to be honest with you, because I know there's not a lot of different species of hippo, but I think we could get a few hippo facts out of it. There's one hippo fact in particular I really want to cover, and so we'll get to that maybe, but we got a few more goat facts, and then we'll move on to the letter H. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking Berry and this Tsuchinoku, which isn't a Yamato no Orochi, but is the closest thing I have. Signing out. Later, everyone.